Module 8, Storage and Pre-Planning Considerations. Upon completion of Module 8, participants should be able to develop plans to fight or contain fires at tank farms and bulk storage facilities. Tank farm and bulk storage fire operations can be extremely dangerous and require an extremely advanced technical knowledge of flammable liquid firefighting and fire protection. Because of the amount of time to set up operations and contain such a fire and the number of resources necessary to handle an incident and defend against a reflash or reignition, they can become very tedious operations. In most cases, these facilities will also require additional specialized equipment and apparatus, as well as highly trained personnel in flammable liquid firefighting techniques to minimize risk to operational personnel, the facility, and community. It is imperative that departments have good relationships and cooperation with the facility operators and staff and should establish extensive pre-fire plans. In addition, schedule walkthroughs to update pre-plan information and functional exercises to practice the details of those established pre-plans on a regular basis. As an absolute minimum, it is highly recommended that these types of activities should be conducted at least once per year. In many cases, a major fire incident at one of these facilities will be beyond the capabilities of local resources and responders. Therefore, it is important to develop and maintain mutual aid assistance agreements. It may be prudent to contract outside national professional technical services for these incidents depending on the magnitude and location. The best single avenue of defense for these installations is prevention and proactive planning activities. It cannot be overemphasized for these types of high-risk facilities. We plan for the worst-case scenario and hope for the best outcome on this type of incident. The following are some considerations for fire incidents at major facilities. Pre-fire plans with predetermined flow rates should be established and reviewed regularly. Mutual aid resources should also be included in planning and drills. We also recommend that your pre-plan includes potentially impacted residential and business communities adjacent to these facilities and how an incident could impact them. Fire foam flow rates and resource needs for campaign or long-term incidents should be established before the incident occurs and reviewed regularly. Storage tanks containing ethanol blended fuels should be identified and known by the fire department personnel well in advance of any incident. If tanks are provided with pre-piped foam systems, connection locations and required pressures and flows should be identified. Personnel should be aware of the potential danger that systems installed on tanks which previously contained regular gasoline may not work or be appropriate for ethanol blended fuels being stored in those tanks. Greater flow capacities may be required, and subsurface foam injection systems do not work with ethanol blended fuel components. Fires in storage tanks where no fixed systems are available or usable, or in cases where fixed systems are rendered inoperable, may not be extinguishable with non-fixed appliances. Lowering the fuel level and protecting exposures may be the only options for reducing the overall impact of the incident. Pre-planning is a vital factor to the successful outcome and management of an incident at a bulk storage facility involving ethanol blended fuels. The amount of success obtained in resolving an emergency can, in most cases, be determined by the amount of advanced preparation made by firefighting personnel. The purpose of pre-incident planning is to identify incident objectives, strategies, and tactics well in advance of an incident, along with functional and full-scale exercises with all responsible parties involved in the training. This will enable attack preparations and firefighting operations to be carried out at the actual incident scene of an emergency as efficiently, effectively, and safe as possible. The incident management attack operations can begin more quickly if details about the incident site are known prior to the arrival of the firefighters and if positions of specialized equipment, apparatus, and possible hose layouts have been predetermined. Thus, less time needs to be spent on making decisions concerning the incident site during and after the size-up process. Steps involved in pre-planning process include information gathering, collecting pertinent information at the selected site that might impact incident management operations, such as construction features, exposures, utility disconnects, fire hydrant location, water main sizes and flow capabilities, and anything else that would impact response operations if an emergency should occur. Information analysis. The information gathered must be analyzed in terms of what is pertinent and vital to incident operations. An operable pre-incident plan must then be formulated and put into a usable format that can be used at the incident site and easily understood by all operationally engaged personnel. Information distribution. All organizations that have statutory responsibility or functional capabilities at a bulk storage facility involving an ethanol blended fuel incident of scope and magnitude should have a current copy of the facility pre-plan. This will allow these organizations to become familiar with both the plan and pertinent factors relating to it prior to an actual incident. It may not be feasible to keep adequate foam stock on hand. It is important to consider a consortium approach for bulk AR-AFFF storage and availability. It is also important to ensure there is an adequate foam resource management plan and foam stock rotation during long-term storage as required by the foam manufacturers. This foam resource management plan must also include regular sample testing of the foam concentrate stockpile by qualified personnel to ensure the continued integrity of the foam concentrate. In this module, we learned that in the event of a major incident at a fuel storage facility, you will be better positioned to respond if you have done your homework in advance. You should have an incident plan in place and be in the habit of maintaining good relationships with the agencies that can offer support in your time of crisis. Drills and walkthroughs are essential parts of planning for major incidents and should be conducted on a regular basis. A final note, sometimes all you can safely do is contain the incident and let the fire run its course. Knowing when to let this happen is an important component of safety. Knowing the limitations of your resources and personnel, protecting the safety and well-being of your community all play a role in your emergency response decisions. The Renewable Fuels Association and TransCare would like to thank you for taking the time to view these very important ethanol emergency response modules. For more information, please review the following websites.